Ever get that feeling like YouTube can read your mind, knows what you want to watch before you even do? We're going deep today on that. YouTube's recommendation system, how it builds that model of your interests, how stuff like time of day or where you are even plays a role, and that whole balance between showing you stuff you already like versus, helping you discover new things. We're also going to look at all the ways you're actually feeding information back into the system, shaping those recommendations without even realizing it maybe.
Yeah, it's this crazy feedback loop, right? A back and forth between you and the algorithm. You're not just sitting there, you're actually shaping what you see with every click, even just how long you watch something.
Okay, so first things first, user profiling. How YouTube gets to know your tastes. We're talking watch history, likes, dislikes, comments, channels you're subscribed to even. And get this, your searches on Google too.
It's like they're painting this super detailed picture of what you're into, and it's always changing. Every time you do something on YouTube, it's another brushstroke.
So it's more than just like liking a bunch of cat videos.
Oh, way more. YouTube's paying attention to everything. Say, for example, you start watching more videos about ancient Rome, even if you haven't searched for that. The algorithm picks up on that shift and starts suggesting more stuff like that.
Whoa, so it's like YouTube saying, hey, looks like this person's into gladiators now.
Exactly.
It really is like having a friend who's also a supercomputer, remembers everything you've ever watched. That brings us to another thing, context. It's not just what you watch, it's when and where, right?
Totally. Time of day, your location, what device you're using. Think about it. What you want to watch on your phone, on the bus, totally different from what you're putting on the TV on a Friday night.
For sure. Like, no way I'm watching a 2-hour documentary on my phone while I'm waiting for the bus. The system picks up on that, though. Tailors its recommendations to fit those situations.
Exactly. It's like YouTube knows when you're in the mood for a quick, fun video, or when you're ready to dive into something deeper.
Okay, so YouTube's like a mood reader, basically. But how does it do that thing where it shows you stuff you like, but also introduces new things? Isn't there a danger of getting stuck seeing only stuff you already agree with?
That's the million-dollar question, the exploration versus exploitation problem. Every recommendation system has to deal with it.
Right, because everyone loves their comfort zone. But you don't want to be stuck watching the same type of video forever. How does YouTube walk that line?
So one way is this thing called the knowledge graph representation. Imagine a map that connects every video and channel on YouTube based on topics, who made them, even what the audience is into.
Okay.
It lets the algorithm see how videos are related, even if they seem totally different at first glance.
So like if I'm watching a ton of 80s music videos,
Yeah.
the system might use this knowledge graph to suggest a documentary about 80s fashion.
You got it. It's like saying, hey, we see you're loving this. Maybe you'd also dig this related thing, even though it's not something you usually watch.
Those unexpected connections. That's where the magic happens, I guess.
Exactly. That's how you break out of that bubble and find something totally new.
Okay, makes sense. But how does YouTube actually learn from us? Is it just liking or disliking videos?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't use those buttons that much.
A lot of people don't, and that's where things get really interesting. When it comes to feedback, there's the obvious stuff, explicit feedback. You hit dislike, leave a comment, add it to a playlist. You're directly telling YouTube what you think.
Right.
But then there's implicit feedback, the stuff happening behind the scenes.
Like what?
Watch time, for example. How long do you watch? Do you skip around, rewind certain parts, even if you don't like it? If you watch the whole thing.
That tells YouTube something.
Big time. Watch time is gold for YouTube because it shows they're actually keeping you engaged. Engaged users are happy users, right? And happy users make advertisers happy, which is how YouTube pays the bills.
So just by watching, I'm giving YouTube a ton of information.
You got it.
It's like a silent conversation, huh? Where every view, every pause, every rewind, it's all telling YouTube something.
You got it. And all that data, the obvious stuff and the not so obvious stuff, it all feeds these crazy, powerful machine learning models, the things that actually power the recommendations.
We're talking like deep neural networks.
Yeah.
Right? Reinforcement learning models. That's next level stuff.
It is, but you can think of it like, a network of brain cells, kind of. But instead of brain cells, it's algorithms. And these algorithms, they're constantly learning, changing, based on all that data they're getting.
Okay, so it's through that whole process that YouTube gets better at figuring out what I want to watch next.
Right.
I gotta say, though, it's still a little freaky to think about all these algorithms analyzing my every move.
I get that. But YouTube's always running experiments to make sure those recommendations are as good as they can be.
Experiments, like what?
A/B testing, for example. They'll show different versions of the recommendation system to different people, see which one works better.
So it's like this giant experiment, always tweaking and refining.
Exactly.
Someone else. So we're all lab rats in a way. But if YouTube's learning from us, can we do anything to, influence those recommendations, take back some control?
Oh, absolutely. You're not just along for the ride. You have more control than you think.
Like what?
You can manage your watch history, get rid of those videos you'd rather YouTube didn't remember.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Definitely got a few of those lurking around.
You can also tell YouTube to stop recommending certain channels, or even adjust what kinds of recommendations you get. It's not total control, but it gives you a say.
Right, like we can at least nudge the algorithm in the right direction.
Exactly.
It's good to know we have some agency in this whole thing. But all this talk about algorithms and data makes me wonder, how does it all tie into that echo chamber problem? And, the spread of misinformation online.
That's the big one. Recommendation systems, by their very nature, they can create echo chambers.
How so?
If you mainly watch videos from one point of view, the algorithm might just keep feeding you more of that, even if it's not accurate or balanced.
So you can end up trapped in this feedback loop of bad information.
It's a real risk. That's why it's so important to be aware of how these systems work and to make an effort to seek out different perspectives.
So don't just passively consume whatever the algorithm throws at you.
Right.
Challenge yourself to look at different viewpoints, different sources.
It's like taking charge of your information diet, right?
Don't let the algorithm decide what you see and what you believe.
Exactly. Be critical of the content you see. Don't be afraid to double-check things.
Fact check, basically.
Yeah. Remember, you have the power to shape your own online experience.
Okay. Feeling a bit more empowered now. We've talked about how YouTube figures out what you like, how it takes context into account, and how it tries to balance showing you the familiar with the new. But I'm still curious about those filter bubbles. How does YouTube try to avoid trapping us in those? Any concrete examples?
Sure. One way is what they call serendipity.
Serendipity.
Basically, the algorithm will sometimes throw in a suggestion that's a little outside your usual stuff.
Like saying, we know you love this, but maybe check this out too.
Exactly. It might seem random, but there's usually some connection. Maybe based on something you watched ages ago.
Right.
And who knows? That random suggestion might spark a whole new interest.
I think that's happened to me before. I was watching a bunch of documentaries about space, and YouTube suggested this video about the history of telescopes. Ended up learning a ton about astronomy history.
See, Mer, you never know where those unexpected connections will lead.
That's so cool.
And YouTube has other tricks, too. They also look at the diversity of channels you're watching.
Meaning?
Like, they might recommend channels that cover similar stuff but from different angles. For example, even if you mostly watch videos from, say, left-leaning creators.
They might suggest a video from a right-leaning creator.
Exactly. Just to expose you to another perspective.
So it's like, even though the algorithm's trying to give me what I like, it's also trying to make sure I'm not getting stuck in a bubble.
Precisely. And that brings up another important point. The algorithm pays a lot of attention to what you've been watching lately.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if you suddenly become obsessed with 80s music videos, you'll probably see a lot more of that.
Right.
But it's not just about your latest obsession. They also consider your long-term watch history.
It's like trying to find that sweet spot, keeping you interested in what you're digging now, but also reminding you of things you've loved in the past.
Exactly.
It's kind of amazing how much information the algorithm is juggling.
It is, but it's important to remember these algorithms aren't all knowing, right? They're just reflecting patterns they see in our behavior.
Right.
The more we understand how they work, the more we can use them to our advantage.
I like that.
We can be intentional about what we watch, look for diverse viewpoints, challenge our own biases.
Be active participants, not just passive consumers.
Exactly. We can use those tools YouTube gives us to manage our history, tweak recommendations, give feedback. In short, we can take control, make the online experience work for us.
Okay, now that's empowering. We're not just at the mercy of these algorithms. We can actually shape them, use them to our advantage. But zooming out a bit, how does this all tie into the future of, content creation?
The content consumption.
Yeah, that's a huge question. If these systems are getting so good at predicting what we like and shaping what we see online, what does that mean for, the whole future of content, how it's made, how we interact with it?
It's a massive question, really. Imagine a world where everything you see online is perfectly tailored to you, your interests, your mood, even where you are at that exact moment.
Sign me up. No more endless scrolling, just videos I actually want to watch.
Right, but there's a flip side to that, isn't there? What if we get so comfortable in those personalized bubbles that we miss out on discovering something new, something we didn't even know we'd love?
That's true. Like, what if I never get to hear a new genre of music or learn about a historical event I had no idea about,
Mm.
just because the algorithm thinks it knows me so well?
It's all about finding that balance, right? Personalization is great, but we need a bit of the unexpected too. Things that challenge us, show us different perspectives.
So how do we avoid becoming like slaves to the algorithm, just
Yeah.
getting fed stuff that reinforces what we already think?
That's where our own choices come in. We have to be proactive,
Hmm.
Seek out diverse viewpoints, explore new channels, engage with stuff that pushes us out of our comfort
It's
zones.
like taking the wheel back from the algorithm,
Yeah.
saying, hey, thanks for the suggestions, but I'm also curious about this.
Hmm.
And I definitely don't want to see that.
Exactly. We're more than just data points, right?
Yeah.
And those tools YouTube gives us to manage our watch history, tweak recommendations, give feedback, they become really important.
Because they let us have a say in how the algorithm sees us.
Exactly.
It's like turning a one-way street into conversation. The more we do that, the better these systems can become, helping us find what we want while also expanding our horizons.
It's a win-win.
So we do have some power in this whole thing.
Yeah.
We can actually influence how these algorithms evolve.
Absolutely. Which brings us back to that big question about the future of content. If we're constantly shaping and being shaped by these recommendation systems, what does it mean for the people making the content in the first place?
Okay, hit me with those mind-blowing predictions.
Well, for creators, it means understanding these algorithms is more important than ever. It's not enough to just make great videos anymore. You have to know how to make your content discoverable within this whole system.
So it's like SEO for YouTube.
Yeah.
You have to optimize for the algorithm as well as for actual viewers.
You got it.
Yeah.
Which raises some interesting questions, right? Will algorithms end up being the ultimate judges of what's good and what's not? Will creativity suffer because creators are too focused on pleasing the algorithm?
That's kind of a scary thought. Like, what if all music started sounding the same? Because it was all designed to game the system.
It's a valid concern. But on the other hand, these algorithms could also help us find hidden gems. Imagine an algorithm that can highlight truly unique voices and viewpoints, stuff that might have gotten lost otherwise.
So it could actually help independent creators who don't have huge marketing budgets.
Exactly. It shows how these algorithms have two sides. They can lead to more uniformity, but they can also open doors to incredible discoveries.
It's like a double-edged sword.
In the end, the future of content depends on us, how we as users and creators choose to work with these powerful tools.
It's exciting, but also a little daunting, all those possibilities.
It is, and it highlights why it's so important to stay informed, stay engaged, stay critical, especially in this constantly evolving digital world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We've gone from 0 to 100 on YouTube's recommendation system today.
We've covered a lot of ground, that's for sure.
From the technical details to the bigger questions about content, information flow, the whole shebang.
But it's just the beginning, really.
There's always more to learn, more to question, as these technologies keep changing.
Absolutely.
We've given you the tools to think about how these systems work, how they affect you, and how you can have a say in it all.
Now it's up to you to explore.
See you on the next deep dive.